moving on to the next topic is Ermes Gasparini. And did you get to watch that match between Lavon and Hermes?
Mm-hmm.
And what was your thoughts on that? Were you really shocked at the war that it came into? Because if you listened before, we thought it was going to be Lavon dominating like he does every time.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought for sure. I was extremely proud of Hermes for pulling off what he did. Just showing like what a phenomenal athlete he is, and that anything is possible if you just believe in yourself enough. He believed in himself, and he showed everybody that the impossible can be done. So like sometimes, like for example with me and Gabby, everybody has seen that match twice now, and I know in my heart I can beat her. I know this, like. So it means a lot, like for me to see Hermes being that close to Lavon, because you think the gap is that far, but it's really not, like it's right there. So
I think you showed that in that match with Gabby, in those later rounds, you started, I think, figuring out the answer, and what would you do now if you went up against her? Would you change anything? Would you train any different?
Yes. Okay. So, I mean, I think I'm strong inside. I know I'm strong inside. Gabby's is stronger. But if I can actually, fun fact, today is 1 year ago. No, I'm lying. April 2nd is 1 year ago, the matches. But it's coming up. Because I got memories on Facebook that a year ago today I did my photo shoot in Dubai and stuff for the match. I can't believe it's been a year. But anyways, if I can redo the match, like I'm gonna go outside a lot harder, a lot faster from the get-go. I don't have any business on the inside with her. And that's all I'm training to, pronation. So
now let me ask you, would you gain any weight or anything? Because you know that Gabby's she's built like a Sherman tank. She's a power lifter. She I believe she was at like 200-pound mark at the East versus West last. Would you need to gain any size, or would you stay the size you are and rely more on speed and technique?
Yeah, I don't like being heavier. Like I don't feel good, and I believe also that you don't have to be like overweight in order to be stronger. Because if I feel bad in my body and carrying myself, it's not going to translate into good feeling, strength, power. I've been big before, and I have felt strong, but like being stable, like I'm still eat whatever I want. I just make sure that I train. Like I'm not on a diet by any means. Like I'm not starving myself. I'm just living. And so I wouldn't gain any weight. Maybe like a couple pounds. Maybe I'll go up to like 185. Adding a little bit more, but like I don't want to have to change clothes and go up in sizes and clothes and stuff for a match. Like that's not me.
Would you ever consider maybe doing powerlifting? Because I know that more of your training would be more like arm wrestling specific, but also bodybuilding mix. Where Gabby's going more, I think, with the powerlifting style. Would you ever, focus on powerlifting at all?
I mean, a couple months ago, I kind of had a what do you call it? Like I was going through, a lot with my mental health. I didn't enjoy arm wrestling as much anymore. It was right after the Gabby match. I felt, discouraged with my loss. I had to train for that match for so long, and I didn't win. And I was kind of down on myself. And I decided that let me try powerlifting. So I hired a powerlifting coach, and I started training powerlifting. And I did that for like 4 months, maybe. And then the arm wrestling passion started to wake up again, and I started to, desire arm wrestling. So I kind of pushed powerlifting aside. I don't think I will ever do a meet. Like I'm just not interested. My training over the 17 years have been very powerlifting based, but not so much anymore because of my injury and stuff like that. But I'm just more into arm wrestling now. Like I train my wrist and my right arm, and that's I don't do much bodybuilding at all anymore. Like I just want to be a strong here, you know?
The reason why I bring up powerlifting, because powerlifting, I feel like, really puts the strain on the tendons and builds up the tendons. So, you know, I wouldn't expect you to do any meets or anything, but, you know, maybe that training, you know, could help you out with building more strength in the tendons and all that.
Sure, true. That's true. Very true.
And let me ask you, the couple of months that you did the powerlifting, did you see that translate to the table at all? Were you any stronger on the table, or pretty much the same?
Yeah. I believe you have to combine the two to see any, you know, but yeah, like when I have trained a lot of like heavy powerlifting, heavy deadlifts, heavy bench in the past, combined with arm wrestling, I definitely notice more confidence in my setup and general power, the explosiveness and things like that. So I definitely think it can help.
What are 3 exercises that you say that should be a staple to every arm wrestler's routine?
Okay. It's going to be rope climbs / pull-ups, either or both. I think that's like the number one thing. And number two would be like a wrist curl. And a 3 would be some type of pronation, if it's like a static pronation or reps. But I feel like any type of static holds will make you stronger. So if you hold like super heavy in your angle, or you know, pronation style, like make sure you don't lose your pronator, and you push max effort, like of course you're going to be stronger and not being able to lose your hand, you know. So that's my
Now,
3.
what do you consider for your hand? What builds the hand the most? Is it that rope climbing that you do and the pull-ups?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Now, I remember when we did the pull-ups together, you were putting up crazy weight. We were going back and forth, challenging each other, and getting bigger and bigger kettlebells, that we got to the point where you didn't have any bigger kettlebells at the gym.
Yeah.
What is your rep range looking like, and what kind of weight are you putting on? I know you got the injury and all, but before that, what were you doing?
Before,
Yeah,
I would hang 70 72-pound kettlebell on me and do like 5 reps.
nice. And now with the rope climbs, what goes on with the rope climb? Do you do reps with them? Do you put weighted vest on? Do you?
I would alternate depending on like what week it was and how I felt. But sometimes I would add like a 35 or 45-pound weight onto myself and climb it. And sometimes I just do for speed. I do the jump rope. So I try to get from the ground up to the ceiling as fast as I possibly can for the explosiveness. That's my favorite type of training.
Okay. Now, what other exercise do you do for your hand specifically? Or is that pretty much the base for building the hand, and then arm wrestling on the table?
Yeah, that, and I have so many different grips attachments that I put into cable, and I like it's different sizes, thickness, different, like they're cones. Some are the cone, and some are just super like a ball. And depending on the day, I would just pick a new handle and do it from a different angle. You know, curls and different grips, hands. You know.
So pretty much you find one tool to work with a day, and you just kind of do them throughout the day. Is that pretty much how it sounds?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to get back to because we were talking about the Hermes and Lavon, and we kind of got sidetracked with all the training, because you know I love training, so I love always talking about that. But did Hermes find Lavon's kryptonite in your eyes that day, with that being the flop press? Do you think that might be a chink in Lavon's armor?
Possibly. I think Levon's endurance um, is a matter too. So he's just so big. He's so like a big man, you know, and you get a lot of acid if you strain anything, you know. So he's that type of guy that needs to get a match over with quickly in order to last longer. So if there's any type of match, you know, it's going to cost, you know.
What is some suggestions for him for endurance? Because I look at you and I can see you being a real endurance person, you know, with your long marathon training that you do and all that. What could you do to up your endurance?
I mean, general cardio, possibly, maybe go for a brisk walk. um, you know, I don't know, a man of that size, you know, I don't know what he's capable to do, you know, but general cardio maybe, and just maybe I don't know how his training is specifically, but if his style is super matches, if that's what he prefers and have contracts for and whatnot, I would just train like that. I would have table time and do max effort for a minute or two, and then I would take 2 minute break and go back at it and do 6 rounds. You know, I would train for that format, and be very specific with the resting period. Like, I think you only get 2 minutes, right? So that's the time you have to recover, and then I would go at it again.
Now, what do you think between the match between Lavon and Artem Morozov? How do you think that's going to end up?
You said Lavon and Morozov?
Yeah.
I think Morozov is definitely like up and coming and somebody to count on, but at this point in time, I think Lavon is gonna beat him pretty easily.
Yeah, it might be a little too early for Artem. Maybe another couple of years, and you know he might be the guy. Okay, so the next match that we got coming up in, believe it's going down in July, and that's going to be Ermes versus Jerry Caderet. What's your thoughts on that match?
Oh wow, how fun to begin with! Like, cool match. I don't know. I love both. Both are friends of mine. So it's like hard to like make or take a pick, whatever. But I really don't know. I think it's gonna be very even. It's gonna be like one of those 45-minute matches. Um, it's just insane what Jerry do with his wrist, you know, and he can stay in that position for so long and just apply that pressure for so long. He may give Ermes a battle, but I think Ermes is very smart, and I think he studies his opponents very well, and he comes very prepared. Like, for 3 years now, we've seen him just kill it, you know. So I think Ermes may win, like maybe 3-2.
Okay. Now, who do you think is a better style? Would it be, who do you think is going to be harder for Jerry? I think Ermes might be a harder style for Jerry to get through, but I actually think that Jerry might give Lavon a real run for his money just because of the styles, and that we saw that Hermes kind of found that the flop press might be an area that Lavon is a little weaker in and might have some vulnerabilities. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's possible. It's absolutely possible.
Would you think that Jerry might be the guy that could crack Lavon if he opens him up and gets on that bicep?
It's possible. I mean, at this time, I really don't know. When was the last time Jerry had a match? It was last year, right?
Yeah, it was against Georgie. It was
right.
but he was coming off an injury. He didn't get to lift any weights. It was just pure table time. What's happened since then that a lot of people don't know, and me being in Jerry's training camp, Jerry has, you know, a lot of people count him out now because of his performance with Georgie, and they don't realize that he was coming off an injury and he wasn't putting in the work weight-wise, and he didn't want to back out of that match. So he kind of underestimated Georgie, but now he has a fire under him. I mean, this man is really hardcore training. He's got RVJ coming up weekly. They're on the table together. He was just over at Dave Morocco's. So he's putting in the work now, and he's back to bench pressing, and he's starting to put up some crazy numbers. I think we're going to be putting out some videos in the next couple of weeks, keeping everybody up to date with his training and all. So the one thing it definitely did, it did
Cool.
light a fire under him. So we are going to see a very trained up Jerry for Hermes, and I can guarantee that one.
Wow. I love it. I can't wait.